Well, hello Internet, and welcome to my search for the perfect meal. In this tutorial, we're going to create a meal with all the required vitamins and nutrients, all using just whole foods at the lowest possible calorie count. And on top of that, an additional goal is to make it very easy to make this recipe, as well as to make it very cheap. I'm going to cover why ingredients were chosen, nutritional benefits of each ingredient, and show you how to cook everything. So I have a lot to do, so let's get into it. Okay, so if I'm going to create the perfect meal, I'm going to need pretty perfect ingredients, of course. And I'm going to start off with a really perfect ingredient. I'm going to use 1 cup of lentils. I didn't even bother listing fiber on here because we're going to get a ton of fiber. In just 1 cup of lentils, you're going to get 58.6 grams versus the required 38 grams. So we already covered fiber. So why do we need fiber? Well, it regulates the flow of food through our digestive system. It binds with cholesterol to lower blood cholesterol levels. It stabilizes blood sugar levels, and it also promotes growth of healthy bacteria that's going to allow us to better utilize all of these nutrients we're packing into our body. I also included lentils because they have a ton of protein, which generally every body process requires protein. They're also high in thiamine, which, like other B vitamins, is going to be responsible for the production of energy from dietary carbohydrates as well as fats. Lentils also have a ton of folate, which is going to promote the health of our nervous, cardiovascular, and reproductive systems, and it is used in the production of red blood cells. Often disregarded, copper is very important because it's used to manufacture collagen. It also incorporates iron into cells. It's used in the production of antioxidants, which provide electrons to free radicals to avoid their spread, which could cause cell damage if they should spread. And it also converts carbohydrates into energy and controls our cholesterol. We also have iron, which is going to help us transport oxygen that our tissues need to survive, and it also aids greatly in providing energy for our muscles and organs. Magnesium is going to help calcium to be absorbed, and it also promotes bone growth. And on top of that, it also aids in energy production and allows our nervous and inflammatory systems to function properly. We also get a ton of phosphorus, which is used by cell membranes as well as in the basic structure of our cells. And on top of that, phosphorus is responsible for the structural strength of our bones, and it is required for our cells to be able to receive energy. And one other thing that is very important about phosphorus is that it helps maintain the pH levels in our bodies. And the final major ingredient, and the reason we have lentils in this meal, is zinc, which is going to promote the health of our immune, reproductive, skin, and sensory organs. Now on to the second ingredient, being 1 cup of portobello mushrooms. Portobello mushrooms, and I'm specifically saying portobello mushrooms here, have a ton of riboflavin, which is going to metabolize fat and other nutrients, especially iron. And on top of that, it's going to help to prevent the growth of free radicals. Also has a ton of niacin, which converts carbohydrates, fats, and synthesizes starches stored in the body into energy. And niacin also stops the spread of free radicals that can destroy cells. Also has a ton of vitamin B5, which is going to help carbohydrates, fat, and proteins to be converted into energy. And most important, the reason it's in here is it has a ton of vitamin D, which is going to help your body absorb calcium, which is going to build strong bones, of course. And vitamin D also strengthens white blood cells that fight infections, controls blood sugar levels, which also fight against diabetes. And then the final reason it's in here is because portobello mushrooms contain a lot of selenium, which is going to help the thyroid to function properly and also prevent the creation of free radicals. So at this point, you can see down here, with just these two ingredients, we were able to knock out niacin as well as vitamin D and copper to bring our total nutrient goal count to 4 out of 21, including fiber. Our next major ingredient are 2 cups of collard greens, which are absolutely amazing if cooked properly. The reason collard greens are in this meal is because they contain a ton of vitamin B6, which is used to create energy from carbs. And on top of that, it is used for the production of red blood cells, neurotransmitters in the brain, and liver detoxification. Also has a ton of vitamin A, as you can see, which provides support for our vision, immune, reproductive, and inflammatory systems, and also promotes cell growth. Also has a healthy level of vitamin C, which is going to protect against free radicals. And vitamin C is also used in production of collagen as well as neurotransmitters. Also, we have collard greens here because it contains a lot of vitamin K, which is going to allow our bodies to develop clots if we should be cut, and it also supports bone health. And then finally, the major reason why we are including collard greens in this meal is it has a ton of calcium, which is used to rebuild bones, maintains pH levels in our blood, and allows our muscles and nerves to function. So as you can see right here with the green colored rows that we have here, we have knocked our nutrient goal count to 8 out of 21. So why don't we jump in here and add another ingredient which is going to provide a ton of vitamin E along with a bunch of other nutrients. And that ingredient would be 1/2 cup of almonds. Like I said, almonds contain a ton of nutrients, but we're focusing in here on vitamin E, which is going to help protect the cardiovascular system from free radicals that can lead to hardening of the arteries. And with just this little addition, we've now knocked our nutrient goal count up to 11 out of 21 total nutrients that we want to get out of this meal. So now I want to focus in on an ingredient that's going to give us a ton of potassium, and that ingredient would be 1 cup of sun-dried tomatoes. Now, like I said, we're going to include sun-dried tomatoes because of the ton of potassium in them, but as you can see, we also gained a ton of other nutrients from sun-dried tomatoes. And the major reason we want to focus in on potassium is it's going to help maintain normal blood pressure and promote kidney health. So with just those 5 ingredients that you see right there on your screen, we increased our nutrient goal count to 14 out of 21. That means we got our daily recommended number of 14 nutrients and minerals all right here in just these 5 ingredients. Now I'm going to jump over and show you all the other ingredients we're going to need to max out our total recommended number of nutrients and minerals for a day. And you can see here all of the ingredients we're going to be using in our meal. We're going to be using garlic for its anti-cancer properties. We are also going to be using flaxseed because of the ton of nutrients they contain. We're also going to be using sun-dried tomatoes that are not soaked in oil, as well as Brazil nuts, which provide in just those 2 nuts a daily recommended amount of selenium, spinach, and mushrooms, and lentils that are boiled just until tender. Now as we start cooking, I'm going to take 1 whole onion and throw that in a pan with a little tiny bit of oil inside of it, and then 1/2 of a red pepper, and I'm going to stir that up until everything's brown, just as you can see right there. Then I'm going to add in a cup of portobello mushrooms or more. They're super healthy. A pinch of salt to help everything go together, and then stir all that up, and then I'm going to add in 2 cups of spinach. And the spinach, after you stir it in there, is going to wilt down and look exactly like that. Now we'll add our other ingredients. We're going to get our cooked lentils, 1 cup, throw that inside of there. Then get your sun-dried tomatoes, throw that inside of there. And we're going to mix all of that together. And now we're going to put some wet ingredients inside of here. We're going to get ourselves 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then we're also going to put in 1 teaspoon of cumin. We're going to add in 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed, and then we're going to mix all of that together, and whenever everything is done, it's going to look exactly like this. Now you can either take your almonds and your Brazil nuts and crunch them on top, or eat them on the side. And that is going to leave us to our collard greens. I got 3 tablespoons of garlic, and then I got my collard greens and I boiled them for 5 minutes and then chopped them up, threw them inside of a non-stick pan. You can add some sriracha sauce if you like, or some red pepper flakes just to spice them up a bit. And there you go, is your finished meal, and I put our other previous toppings on top of white rice. So please leave your questions and comments below. Otherwise, till next time.